Hello and welcome to this Detuned Techno tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make this rack in Ableton Live. You don't have to make it yourself, you can go right now and get it from the description below. There's a couple in there with different settings. I'll talk you through them both right now. So yeah, I started off wanting to make a sound like early Robert Hood or Sleeve Archive, which are both made on the Roland 101. A couple of students asked me for that, and then it morphed into something a bit more complicated, but it covers all bases, I think. Basically what you want to do is you want to make a mono synth in Ableton Analog, and you do that here by making it so it only plays one voice at a time. Then you make a really tight envelope, filter envelope, which has got a short decay, and then you make it play some MIDI, which is quite repetitive and mainly 1/16 notes, and mainly all one root note, but a little bit up, like one note or so, just to give it sort of a detuned off note, and then one or two notes up high to give it that bleepy 101 ARP sound. So yeah, here's the settings. You've got a oscillator detune, so you can detune it as much as you like. It goes the other way as well. What this is doing is making oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 be detuned the opposite way. If I take the filter up, you can really hear it. That's not detuned. I'll take unison off so you can hear it, and then it can get pretty nuts. And then there's unison detune, which is like puts a lot of note stack on each note and detunes them slightly. If I set the oscillator detune back to 0, you can hear it. It can be really extreme. Gated down, and you can use them both together. It can get nasty pretty quickly. Now I've also included this, which it's important. It's the filter decay. You can see it shortening on the envelope, so you get some really tight plucky notes, and you can open it up the whole filter. And then underneath it, I've added a sub bass, which you wouldn't get on a lot of old synths or whatever, but I think it's really good for modern techno. It is basically it's just playing the same. I'll solo it. So you can hear it. It's just it's basically a really simple sine wave playing in another copy of Ableton Analog. It is a couple of octaves down, and it's driven slightly, but in 3 different places to give it a lot of warmth. It's driven on the filters of the analog, and it's driven on overdrive a little bit, and it's driven on another filter which also filters the top frequencies out but boosts it a little bit in the bass, and I think it's quite nice. It's just playing the same MIDI as whatever you put into the bleepier higher sound, and the volume's here, so you can control it. It's quite nice to automate the volume actually, which I'll show you up here. You can see here I've automated it here, so the bass just punches in. This one, which isn't automated. So yeah, you've got detune, unison detune, filter decay, which opens up the whole filter eventually, sub bass volume, and then you've got delay feedback. After the analog, there is a nice overdrive unit driving it slightly there, and then an echo and an extra reverb on top, so you can get big reverbs and delays. Delay feedback's quite nice as a build. Just to add tension, a little bit of tension throughout the track, especially used in conjunction with delay amount, which is the wet dry of the delay on the echo. Also, the reverb decay is good, but adding tension, it sort of adds like a big sort of pad underneath it. And you can get even more if you put the reverb amount up, which is the next one. yeah, so that's quite nice for adding in builds on automating them. As you can see, I did it on this one up here. If I play this one, this is just the rack playing with just a kick and a hat under it, and you can see how I've automated it. Here, I've just built the reverb, delay, and decay, and the filter as well, and then just bring them all back in, but with the delay feedback down and the filter decay down, so you get it so it becomes plucky again. Let me mute that. Solo that one. Yeah. There's a couple other things you can do that you can try. I would recommend adding a chord to it. If you add a chord to it, and then you can get sort of like more Detroit sort of sequences out of it. You need to go to the volume. There's a separate rack for this in the description below, so you can go and get that too. But what I'm doing is taking it away from being a 101 style sound and adding a load of voices. And then here I'm going to put a chord on it, and I'll put a minor chord to start with. So you immediately get sort of, I'll just read the sub bass room. You immediately get sort of Detroit style sequences. And they're really nice, and then you can play around with to get really detuned sounds as well. Like that. Like you're holding down sort of a random set of keys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Regarding the MIDI, you want what I do is I'll just turn that sound down. What I do is I'll make like a 3-beat loop like this, and then just maybe have one detuned, one at the root note and one up high, and then just copy them out so they're like a little step sequence sound, and then like that, and then maybe change a few. Maybe a sort of a loop of 5 different notes, but it wants to be really repetitive, I think, and it does want high notes, and it wants a couple of off notes. Like, don't be afraid to pull one out of tune, because the whole thing's about having these sort of nasty sort of blue notes, I think they're called. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, have a look at the description below. Grab the downloads. You can also get the samples for this. They're on the blog too. And yeah, send us anything you make. We'd love to hear it. Okay, take care. Have a good day. Bye.